There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with an hour time limit and record it live. This is the result. Okay, this is Escape from the ELI or ELI. Oh my god, that changed quickly. You've heard stories since childhood about brave students from your country who have taken a trip across the ocean to the United States and enrolled in the English Language Institute of the University of Delaware. And you heard rumours that most of these students disappeared and were never heard from again. Now, if you've finished your high school work, blah, 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 the certificate, blah, ELI, University, Delaware, blah, boo. That's a lot of writing. Okay. So I bought a plane ticket. I'm ready to go. And there don't appear to be any graphics, but we shall see. Okay. I'm going to encounter many hostile forces. That's a good sign. Attend classes, do the required work, and receive the t-shirt and certificate. Okay. You arrived at the airport a few hours ago, went through customs, and are now riding in the Delaware Express shuttle. Okay. You have only one possible choice of commands. Type the word. Oh, right. So this is this. I spoke about these before in a previous review. This is a text parser game. Now, text parser games predated your standard point-and-click adventure games by many years. You're talking about the likes of Zork and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy being the most popular ones. This one I have never heard from before. Escape from Eli or Ellie or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, so it's nice that they haven't just thrown you in. They've given you a bit of exposition, and they've been like, right, you're at the express shuttle, you've one move, and this is how you should do it. So let's type west. Boom. You are now at the... I'm going to say ELI. You know, I'm sure it stands for something. Chris Wolf is sitting at his desk talking on the telephone. There are suitcases. You don't know anyone. Right. You've several choices here. There is an important handbook here. So we shall read the handbook and take it. Oh my goodness. That's it's essentially interactive fiction. Back in the day, there was a series of books called Fighting Fantasy, and many variants and spin-offs and similar ones, where they would provide you with a few paragraphs of exposition, and they'd be like, right, make a choice. And then they'd tell you to flip to a specific page. This is an evolution of that, in that it's a computerized version of that, where you're given choices, and then you have to pick the right ones. Right. So we're some sort of student. So we've read the handbook. Let's go north. On a completely unrelated note, I used to read a series of books called The Ancestral Trail, and my father, who was a very, very, very clever man, decided to write a text parser adventure based on The Ancestral Trail, just for us, just for his own amusement, and he used to get us to play it. So I'm no stranger to text parser games, but to be quite blunt about it, there's only going to be a select group of people who would find these remotely interesting. You know, if you need graphics in your game, then this is a no-no. You know, you're just not going to enjoy it whatsoever. So I keep seeing bits of paper and stuff. So read. What happens if I just type read? You need to specify a noun. So you can't just do an action. You know, you have to specify what it is. Read the... Let's see if we can get away. Read the old paper. Yes. Hi, this is your friendly offer introducing you to the adventure game. Oh my goodness. How's that for fourth wall breaking? So there you go. It's all about the verbs and how you use them. So it's essentially a tutorial that we've got here. Okay, don't forget to tell me the special move on the certificate that you receive when you graduate in the game. So does this guy actually mail out certificates? That's nice if that happens. Because I mean, back in the day, gaming wasn't as large as it is now. It wasn't a multi-billion-dollar industry, dominated by the States. It was much more normal to be able to sort of get in touch with a developer and just be like, hey, give me a certificate, please. Or, hey, I noticed this error in your game. Can you fix it? Or whatever, And I remember doing that once for a game that I played. I wanted to know who did the music, and I got in touch with the guy who did the original music of the game, and he was like, oh, sorry, I don't have a clue. And it was something like 20 years later, I finally discovered who did the music, thanks to a site called Moby Games, which I use for reference and stuff. But yeah, you could just talk to people, if they wanted to be found. That's another great thing about the internet back then, if you didn't want to be found, you couldn't be. Okay, back to playing the game. What now? Let's try going north. You are in Kirkbride 206 to attend the opening ceremonies for session 1. Okay. Let's read the class schedule. Okay, read the book list. Okay. And then let's just keep going north for no apparent reason. You can't go north from here. Silly James. So I literally have to go east. You've just left the opening ceremonies wearing your backpack and are standing in South College Avenue. Next to you is Smith Hall. Above you is the overpass leading to the mall and the UD bookstore. You don't really understand where the bookstore is, but you see our ELI students walking up the overpass. When I first went to university, I felt a bit like this. I'd look at these massive buildings and all these complicated places to navigate to with minimal information that you just had to find on your own steam, and the transition from being spoon-fed everything to being told, right, it's up to you to attend classes, it's up to you to find your way there. It was a bit baffling, it was a bit crazy, and I can imagine with the plot of this game being some foreign student coming in to this massive institution, yeah, they've captured that with the language, and that's something that a lot of modern games don't do. They have all these graphics and sound and so on, and they use that to paint the scene rather than the dialogue. And I feel like there's something about dialogue that tickles the mind, that enhances the experience. So the game has actually prompted us quite handily here. It said, hey, you don't know where the hell you're going? Type question mark. Right? You may use a single key to enter some of the common commands. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So, you don't have to keep typing north. But you know what we're going to do? North. You can't go north from here. So let's use an arrow key. You can't go east. Oh. So we just went back to the way we were before. What about up? Can't go north, can't go south, can't go east. What does that leave us with? West. Let's go west again. Nope. North, can't go north. South. You're now standing on the front porch of the ELI wearing your backpack. To the west is the visitors' parking lot. To the east is the Kappa Alpha fraternity house where you can hear some shouting and screams. Ha ha! America! Frat bros! 2 students are sitting on the ELI porch talking in Spanish. No hable. Some other students are walking north to attend the opening ceremonies. Right. Is that the same old piece of paper? Let's examine it. Examine paper. The paper looks like it's been lying here for a few days. But the interesting thing is that it has your name written on it. Read the old paper. Yes, that's the one before. Let's go south again. Let's just keep... No. Huh. So, I'm just randomly hitting buttons in the hope that I get to somewhere. But I don't appear to have many places to go to. There's probably, at this point, there's something that you need to do. But I'm losing interest fast. Because these sort of games were something that I've, there's a scene in The Simpsons that I constantly refer to. And it's from a classic barbershop quartet episode where Homer's up on the roof of Moe's and he's singing his hit song with all his friends, and this limo passes. And the window of a limo is pulled down and George Harrison looks out and he just says, "It's been done." And that's how I feel about this game, and my experience with text adventure games in general. It's been done. I don't want to go back to doing that anymore, and that's on me. It's pretty obvious who I'd recommend this to. There's no sort of there's no surprises here. It is a text adventure game. It is a text parser game. It's quite dry in its delivery. So if you're a fan of text adventure games and you haven't heard of this one, here's another text adventure game. If you don't see yourself playing a non-graphical text parser game, then this is entirely pointless. And that's why I'm stopping here, because that's me. Thank you, ELI, and I'm sorry that I did not escape you or even scratch the surface of your narrative. But that's more than enough for me, I think. Goodbye. I don't understand goodbye as a verb. Well, let me demonstrate for you now, game.